Greetings, and attempt number 2 at Alpha and Omega presentation 7. I have to sort of chuckle and smile to myself. I watched one of Christine's Dream Universe channel. I'll put the link in the description to the actual video. And I'm sure many of you that create videos, if you're talking about anything spiritual or truth seeking, how things will just happen. If anything, we could call this a new hobo code, the road sweeper. It's like those annoying sirens and things every time you have this highest thought, this spiritual thought that you wish to share, that something will happen to try and derail it. It's like an unseen detection of an energy. But I just laugh at it because there's no point getting annoyed. Anything I say on video, then it's up here for a reason, and it's expressed as and when. It's one of the reasons I'm grateful for not having the technical know-how, and just keep it simple. That's an underlying message throughout everything. Keep it simple. The answer is simple. The actual putting it into practice, on the other hand, might seem difficult. But I sat and meditated this morning, and then it came to me about what I've suggested is the law of mirrors. The way this reality will present something to you, which is always a twist and an inverted or an inverted, perverted version of what is. So I'm sure there is, with no exception, anybody that's listening to this are well aware of the jabs in the arm proposals, mandatory, and all this shock horror. And I think about, what is that telling us? Coupled with the lockdown, well, that's just the nature of the way this theatre presents it. I'm sure you've seen plays or films of things, and it'll be a story presented in the style of, or it could be a piece of music written in the style of a previous composer. Prokofiev, there's a particular symphony written in the olden style, which does sound very Baroque. And that's all this reality is doing. So locking down is telling you to stop looking at the external and do the internal. What is the other part? Well, it is trying to prick your consciousness. It is that spark of raising that Christ consciousness within you. I was listening last night to a wonderful lecture by Neville Goddard, and I will put the link in the description because it is so relevant to help you find out who you are and to find out what is and what role we're in. And it is called The Storm and the Calm. It was a lecture that he gave in 1968. You can find it on the Brian Scott channel. I will put it in the description because I thoroughly recommend listening to that. It will give you possibly a whole new perception, a whole new way of looking at things, in particular yourself. Because that is the fundamental question that I think pretty much everybody at some point in their life thinks of, is why am I here? What am I? Where am I from? Where am I going? The clue and the answer to that is contained within that, in that it is I am. The I amness in everything. It's quite when you start seeing it this way, that everything is an external projection and we're all helping to create it. This is why we have to be very careful what we feel, what we think, and how we act. I mean, think of the word action. You've got T-I-O-N. Now, is it tie on? Are you tying your third eye on, and are you projecting out onto that screen? Now, what if you're projecting out from something that is chaos inside. What are you projecting out? Why have we got this reality? I put my hand up to being responsible for part of it. Sorry. It is what it is. But it can be changed. It has provable that it can be changed by a group meditation, where that, as I mentioned in a previous video, where I think it was 1,000 people came together, and the crime rate in one area of New York was reduced by 25% overnight. That shows the true potential and the power that is there, and not many people to achieve that. The potential of that, of where we can take this, is definitely out of this world. So that I was given this sort of message which sort of formed the basis of the video, but I sat here earlier today and it is all about being the observer. Observe the signs that are shown to you. Don't forget, it's not just the signs by night with the stars and the astrology. But remember, it's all reflections, it's all external. But what about the signs by the day? Well, today I was given one of those, and I sat and observed those little flying insects that seem to just hover and almost clash with each other. And what I was seeing, there was a few side-to-side movements, but most of the movements were up and down. I thought, well, to me, that is a sign about raising that Christ consciousness. So if you see anything that catches your eye during the day, a bird or an insect or a tree or anything that sort of suddenly grabs your attention, that is a sign just for you that is shown to you. Another aspect that came through the meditation this morning, it's talked of in the truth-seeking side about what's the word? It's completely gone. The sort of predetermined scripts, predictive programming. That's it. So notice the word pre on the front there. It implies before. So what I'm suggesting here, with what is written in the scripture from Genesis to Revelation, has now been acted out. So there is an historical sort of story based on that story of the human psyche. Yes, I am referring to the Bible here, and for those of you that are not sure where I'm coming from this, again, I refer you to listen to Neville Goddard. Briefly, if you think of every character in the Bible as just being a state that has been personified, they are all states we go through. Most of you, in one form or another, quite literally, because if you're going through these stages of awakening, you are effectively in the state of mind, or certainly leading toward that state of mind of the Christ consciousness within you. So to everybody else out there that is calling you crazy, they are the crowds while you are carrying that cross. It is all a great play, as Neville Goddard has suggested. So when we look at the word prescription, again, apply that law of mirrors, the prescribed. Well, the great play is prescribed. It is all written out. It is becomes a predictive program, which is then enacted, and that is exactly what we are doing. We are taking part in the great play. We are playing the various characters, and you can play any part you want. This is where the free will comes in. Don't be fooled by all the names like Abraham and Jacob. They are just personifications of the states that we go through. We use it in everyday language when we talk about someone being in an angry state or being upset in a state of anxiety or a state of depression. They are all states, and you can move from state to state quite easily. You need no passport for that one. It is all about the communication, the dialogue that is going on within you, that is coming from the gut feeling, which is your Christ consciousness, the heart brain, and Golgotha. The pineal gland. Remember, I think it was Jacob, goes up to pineal. Well, and again, the mirrors, the law of mirrors is giving you a script that is getting you to look externally and look upwards when it is looking upwards within. It is all going on within. It is all, the great play from Genesis to Revelation is all about the human psyche. It is all going on internally. Oh, black hole sun, won't you come? Well, it is the sun, and it's in darkness. It's an internal sun. It is an internal moon. They are all, everything is contained within you. You are your own universe, all in one. I'm getting a little bit confused here because I don't know what I actually said in the first version of this video that was subject to the road sweeper. I think I mentioned that. I'll put the link in for Dream Universe. Christine's video sums it up perfectly. I'm sure any of you that have your own channel can relate to this, where you go to make a video and something like a siren will go off. And this very much backs up exactly what it says in the Anastasia books. And the first 3 books are in the playlist on this channel, including the odd missing parts. But Lime Green Ruse 8 channel is where you'll find the wonderful readings of that book. Now in this, Anastasia says that there was a priesthood of 8 who kept information to themselves and basically created an AI monster. And it does seem to be very much the case of when you have these highest thoughts or these spiritual messages that you feel like, I feel compelled to share this with everybody else, that a siren will go off or something will happen to try and derail the whole process. It does seem to be at an energy, an unseen level of detection. But at the same time, the AI, if that's what it is, with a form of awareness, it's learning, it's gathering data. This is why data collection is such a big thing. Everything we do, everything we say is all being collated on here. And I'm happy to be put into that mix. I acknowledge that I am a co-creator, so I want to put some input into it and program it with something positive. And see if we can become the virus, as it were, into that program and try and correct it and steer it back. Personally, I'm not bothered about whether it's in this reality or not, because I acknowledge that I am not this. This is the biggest stumbling block. This reality, again, the twist, is designed that you don't ask those awkward questions, so you don't get near to finding out who and what you are. It is all designed that you take things personally, when in actual fact, what we're here to do is lead a life as a co-creator and hand over the controls to the creator within to operate through these vessels, rather than trying to be the captain of our ship from our conscious without the full union and support from the unconscious, that meeting of the minds. It's the meeting of the two halves of the brain within one as much as anything else. Remember, it is all within oneself. Listen to how people, not so much these days, but what would be referred to as the Queen's English, you would say, one has been out today and one, because we are all one. See, that side of things, which a lot will associate with the dark side are still telling you the answer. In fact, I would propose that it is the dark side that is giving us the best information. It is just in a way that needs translating and untwisting and seeing what it's really showing, not what it is literally and figuratively showing, because this again goes back to the scriptures. It is not a figurative, it is not a literal, and it is not an historical story. It is a story of human psyche. It is a story. It is our story about what is going on within inside us. So a couple of you, I replied in comments saying that I've got this video coming today, and I said it was Alpha and Omega 8, but I checked and I've actually only made 6, so this is number 7, so I apologise for that. But it will be in the playlists and they will all be in order to follow on, make it easier. So if you want to listen to a series, you can stop and start when you got bored, don't want to hear anymore, or outside distractions, anything. The choice is always yours. No one has to listen to this channel, and I don't take it personally if you don't. Likewise, on the subject of taking things personally, the messing around with this system of seeing a comment in notifications and then trying to find the comments, which seem to disappear and come back. So don't take it personally if I haven't acknowledged a comment. I do appreciate all the comments, and it makes this also worthwhile. The idea that something I said might have helped somebody else through their day in what appear to be very difficult times, particularly this year more than ever before. But just see things for what they are and don't take it personally. Lead that impersonal life and just find the I am within you. It is there to be found. It is, as Neville Goddard says, the fulfillment of the law and the promise. There's no escaping that. Everybody at some point will go through that. You can ease that along, or you can resist it. You can be that opposition, but you're opposing yourself. That saying about we are our own worst enemies, well, of course, because when we are our own worst enemies, we know each other, we know our strengths and weaknesses, or the thing that we think we are, that then works against us. And that system does everything to encourage that, of course. So it's just seeing it with a new eye. Again, is it T-I-O-N? Do you tie on, or do you shun it? It's pronounced as shun, on attention, and words like that. So you got two ways of seeing it, always. But it's entirely up to you how you do see it. But personally speaking, by switching off from the external and going more to the internal, but I'm still looking at the external, keeping a balance, but looking to move the percentages across to the emphasis is more on the essence of what we are. And that is exactly what we are. Our essence, the essene, the essence, is our spirit within. Regardless of whether you're in a male or female form, you resemble a sperm. You are a spirit. These outer garments, these vessels, are the bride of the Creator, to which you at some point will give birth to your son. That is what we are. That's what we're here for. These are all experiences. There is absolutely nothing that can harm you when you come to that understanding, that inner standing, that you are not your ideas, you are not your opinions, you are not these outer garments. You are a spirit within these vessels. So, ta-ta for now.